So as you may have seen, there's been lots of reports of UFOs flying around New Jersey, Ohio, and some other states and places in general. And of course, everyone has a theory as to what these things are, even though no one is qualified to have that theory. And I don't necessarily blame people for having a crazy conspiracy theory to answer as to why these things exist and what they're doing, because there's actually been a lot of buzz around this topic and not many answers. There really is just lots of footage of drones flying around being suspicious because they're in places they're not supposed to be, like military bases, and the news isn't helping either. The news is just fanning the flames of schizophrenia. And of course, Fox News is making these out to be like terror drones or something, but they're not. Just so we're on the same page here, these drones haven't done anything aggressive at all. They've just been flying around. That's it. The only way to consider them very aggressive is if you're scared of LED lights, or if you consider the amount of drones to be a threat within itself, because yeah, there's kind of a lot of drones. Okay, you got me there. But out of the 5,000 reports to Homeland Security, 100 of them turned up some kind of lead. And to me, as someone who loosely follows UFO news, this is actually kind of a good ratio to have. People report UFOs all of the time, and usually there isn't anything. So getting 100 actual leads is pretty good in my opinion. You have to keep in mind, to anyone on the ground, a UFO is like a lot of different things. The average person is not trained to be able to identify flying objects from the ground, okay? And that's who your reports are coming from. So getting 100 actual leads is pretty good. And just because they have 100 leads, by the way, does not mean there's like aliens or they're like really dangerous or something, okay? It's just that they thought they were worth following up. That's all that means. But there's been a good amount of people in high up positions taking this weirdly seriously, more seriously than normal for this kind of thing. Donald Trump even snapped out of his senile brain fog to address the drone. There's also been a general rise in public discourse about UFOs and UAP sightings, and part of that, in my opinion, is people going actually insane from lockdown. I think that is a factor, because r/UFO has gotten very big, and they had some insane takes we will definitely be talking about later. But when it comes to UFO sightings, it is important to remember that a good amount of the people talking about the UFOs currently are the same people who watched this video of an alien in Miami and believed it wholeheartedly and thought that it was a real alien. Even though the only footage we have is a blurry helicopter video, and even though there's cops everywhere in this video and they all have dash cams and body cams, and there would definitely be HD footage if this was a real alien, people still believe this wholeheartedly even though it made literally zero sense. And stuff like that is why it's hard to take UFO talk seriously at all, knowing that the current people freaking out about the UFO sightings are probably the same people who watched this video of the Miami alien and thought it was real. Really puts my mind at ease and everything is probably fine. And also, if these flying drones were aliens or something, I doubt we'd even know if they were here. Honestly, if an alien species made it to travel across the entire universe to our planet, when we are the smartest species in the known universe, and we don't know how to get across the entire universe without being a corpse, I think the hyper-intelligent alien species that managed to get across the entire universe to our planet would know that RGB lights are a bad idea. Like seriously, why would you put big bright LEDs on your ship if you didn't want to get seen? This is already kind of stupid. But if you've been following this at all, this probably doesn't answer the questions you have. Like, why do they shut down a military base if it's just harmless drones? Because yeah, it does sound kind of serious that they're shutting down military bases, right? Well, for starters, that military base that was shut down was not in New Jersey, it was in Ohio, different place. And they weren't really shut down, it was more like grounded, but it is an air base, so I guess it's kind of the same thing. And the most common response I see to drones being in military bases is, why don't we shoot them down? Which is a fair response, honestly. If there's drones flying over your military base, why don't you just shoot them down? You have guns right there. And the answer to that is actually pretty simple. It's illegal. Yeah, the military cannot shoot down random aircraft, and the way drones are classified is as like, you know, actual aircraft. You can't just shoot them down. And generally speaking, this is probably a good thing, okay? It would be really bad if the airbase accidentally shot down a passenger plane and didn't know. That'd be like a really big disaster. And don't get me wrong, I do think it's a little ridiculous they can't shoot down little drones pestering military bases, okay? That is a little ridiculous. But really, at the same time, I am glad they can't just shoot down whatever they want. I think it's better this way. I much prefer them staring at it, confused, unable to do anything. And apparently, the local police were tasked with catching one of these things, and their drones that are also high-tech couldn't keep up with it. Now, I haven't found any footage confirming this or anything that's like a hard confirmation. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, okay? I'm saying I haven't found it, and this story in particular sounds like hearsay. But Joe Rogan, our favorite misinformation sponge that absorbs literally everything and anything you tell him, quote retweeted a video from a local schizo on TikTok who thinks Reagan dismantled the nuclear program, and Ukraine had 80 nukes go missing at one point, and the drones in New Jersey and other places in the US are looking for those 80 missing nukes. And first off, if Reagan did dismantle the nuclear program, I think we'd have less nukes. I'm just putting that out there. I have never heard of this in my life. This is the first time I heard of Reagan dismantling the nuclear program, okay? His entire story starts off on a premise that never happened. And if Ukraine had 80 nukes go missing, I think I would have heard about that. I'm gonna be honest. I think I just would have heard about that. It's a really serious thing. I think I would have known about that. Honestly, yeah, I think I would have heard about that. And the craziest part about this video is what I just debunked was like 20 seconds, okay? It was 20 seconds. This guy has a 9-minute video of him just being schizophrenic, making things up about this. This guy also claims he knows people in the government and they gave him top secret information about nukes. And I'm sorry, there's no shot anybody in the government told this loudmouth literally anything. He probably unironically read this story on Reddit, actually. But the whole point of this 10-minute video that Joe Rogan endorsed is these drones are apparently looking for the missing nukes from Ukraine, which is obviously stupid. Even if 80 nukes did go missing in Ukraine, why would they be here in New Jersey, of all places? This is literally fan fiction. It's not real. Now, as I said before, I don't really blame people for believing the schizo narratives because these people are loud and relentless. But if you're Joe Rogan, you should probably do a little bit more research. I'm just saying, I'm just putting that out there a little bit, just a little bit. These drones are weird. I agree. But there is no shot the plot behind them is that of an action movie. Life is not that convenient, okay? That goes for a lot of the information on r/UFOs because these people read anything and assume that it's true. One of their biggest sources is a 4chan post from 2023 where they talk about building these drones on a mobile ocean base. And thinking about that explanation, it is extremely convenient. It solves a lot of problems. The mysterious drones are being built in a mysterious bunker in the middle of the ocean, and no, you cannot see them or ever find it because it's hidden. It disappears when you get too close. And who knows? Maybe this random guy at 4chan was correct. Who knows? But people tend to forget that governments are people too, and those individuals have their own motives and goals, just like you. And if there were drones being built by an ancient alien civilization in the ocean, I think someone would have leaked it, guys. I'm gonna be honest. In my mind, there's literally no chance this kind of thing could happen, and no one would eventually leak it. It is way too big of a secret. It's the same idea with the moon landing. If it was truly fake, someone would have leaked it by now. There is no chance Russia, being the sore losers they are, wouldn't have found actual proof that the moon landing was fake if it was fake. They had quite literally all the incentive in the world. The space race was kind of a big deal. But that 4chan post also said things like the facilities destroy anything that comes close to it and will disappear for days when approached aggressively. In my opinion, this 4chan post is just fan fiction. This never happened. None of it happened. This dude said the US knew about these drones for 100 years. 100 years! And even if the USA did discover this stupid mobile base in the middle of the ocean 100 years ago, other countries would definitely find out about this stupid thing in the middle of the ocean, right? And there is no chance every country on Earth is keeping this thing secret for 100 years. Actually, zero chance. The president of Mexico proudly displayed a fake alien corpse to the entire world. Do you really think they wouldn't spill the beans on the ancient alien technology in the middle of the ocean? It's also kind of interesting how unimaginative the explanation is for how these things are built, which is just AI. Like the location of the secret alien base is in the middle of the ocean. It can move around at will. It automatically disappears and reappears when people are not in the area. And the only explanation as to how these things are built is AI. Really? They didn't even say AGI, which would have been somewhat believable. I really think this 4chan post is just bait that somebody made, or a, random story that somebody made, and r/UFO users ran with it. All of this sounds like fan fiction. None of this sounds like it's actually possible. Now, it also could just be an actual schizo from 4chan, like they could have made this up and actually believe it, that is a possibility, because they love it over there because they're anonymous, and they think that means the government can't find them when they actually, reveal secrets of the government, even though if you really do post some crazy things, the government can and will find you. But since 4chan attracts real schizos, people who like trolling also go to 4chan to troll the schizos, which I think is kind of messed up, but at the same time, these people are adults. I can't control them. They're gonna believe what they want to believe, and it's kind of funny at the same time. So, yeah, that's my take. Like, seriously, guys, I can't lie. It is extremely funny seeing how r/UFO users sincerely believe and debate this 4chan post. The stuff they're debating is insane. From what I remember, too, this subreddit used to have a lot more skeptics in it, but now it's just a lot of, conspiracy theories and stuff. All the top posts on that Reddit now are just conspiracy theories and like a lot of unconcrete information. A lot of the posts have like some truth to them, and that's kind of the problem with conspiracy theories. They start off at some truth and then kind of devolve into utter insanity. And it doesn't help when the government doesn't give a clear response as to what is happening with these drones. That only makes them more insane, and I don't really blame them for it. There has definitely been multiple weird drone sightings at military bases, and there's also been mixed responses from officials and government officials. Like the New Jersey governor said he's taking the situation deadly seriously. And then a bit later, the Pentagon said there's not really really a problem and they're just kind of there and they're not really a threat at all and you're probably fine. So understandably, people are confused because two authority figures are giving mixed signals on how they should be responding to things. And the Pentagon and the governor of the state are two people that should be having the same answer to things. My take with it though is that these drones are probably harmless and the New Jersey governor wants to make sure he wins re-election. I think it's a pretty fair summary of these mixed responses in particular. And there's been a lot of misinformation and real information about these drones floating around. So I just want to say there is no shot I'm going to see all the information about these drones. And some of those things at first glance might seem like undeniable proof that they're aliens or something. But a good reason you should never immediately believe anything like that is because a lot of people have incentive. Like for example, this guy who called the White House liars for saying out of 5,000 reports, only 100 seemed worth following up. Even if this guy was in the right, it's pretty hard to take him seriously when his Twitter header is his book where he talks about the government supposedly lying to you about the UFOs. Don't you want to know the universal truth? Even if the government was truthful, he'd have all the incentive in the world to say that they're lying. His livelihood literally depends on it. And the fact that r/UFO seems to champion this guy as a legitimate source of information is enough for me to think that he's not a legitimate source of information. Sorry, guys. Also, 4,900 reports that weren't worth following up on is not that crazy. The average person from the ground is not gonna know what a drone is, okay? I wouldn't know what a drone is from the ground. Are you kidding me? A drone from far away is just lights. And that could be like a lot of different things, like a cell tower, a plane, a helicopter. It could be a billion things. And people seeing things that aren't drones and reporting them as drones is way more likely than people only reporting legitimate drones. Like, this is a really stupid point. And don't get me wrong, it'd be really cool if these UFOs were aliens, okay? In fact, I think other intelligent life exists on other planets. I think it's more likely than the non-existing. It just seems ridiculous to assume we're the only intelligent life in the universe is as big as it is, but yeah. And if there is no other intelligent life in the universe, we're either first, extremely rare, or we haven't hit the great filter yet. We'll have to see and find out on that one, but it's not looking good. But either way, there's no proof these UFOs are aliens. There's just none. They're just weird. As of now, that's the only real takeaway from it. Hyper-intelligent aliens who are capable of traveling across the entire universe to get to our planet would not be caught spying on military bases. They just wouldn't. I'm sorry. Why are people underestimating the space aliens? I don't understand it. Why do you think they're stupid? Well, you think they're smart enough to get here, but too stupid to hide. Really? Like, and to add to this, the United States definitely has drones that fly over other countries that are not being seen by people on the ground. Do you think aliens wouldn't be able to do that? And I think if other countries were sending drones over here, they would use better drones. Other countries have resources and technology. They're not buying everything from Walmart. And I'm not saying go full conspiracy theory mode and overestimate their ability. I'm just saying, let's be reasonable. If a foreign adversary was gonna spy on Americans, they're not gonna fly over a military base in New Jersey. So what are the drones really? To be honest, guys, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these sightings were actually military tests being done and they can't talk about them until the tests are complete. That would not surprise me given the military does do that and it was over a military base. And it also wouldn't surprise me if people saw the drones flying around and decided to fly their own drones to mess with people. That's also like pretty likely. And a good amount of the footage floating around could easily be AI video or just classic video editing. It's really not hard to fake these videos. It's actually really easy. Oh, also on that 4chan post where the guy talked about the mobile ocean construction bases, apparently there's a fourth part to this that r/UFO tends to not post, where the original poster on 4chan uses terms like wrangling the tards. So yeah, the drones probably aren't aliens or foreign countries, and they're probably all just American drones. It's probably a combination of military drones as well as, you know, normal hobbyist drones and commercial drones. I'm not opposed to being wrong, okay? I might be wrong. If they are aliens, I will be the first to admit I was wrong. I'd be sick if they were aliens. But what do you think about the aliens? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe if you're new. Click the answer and check out all my content, and have a good one.